Welcome back to the Capture Your Confidence podcast. We're here with a very special guest, Brandi Sims, who is the founder and creator of Brandinc PR. We're so excited to be able to dig in with her and chat a little bit more about confidence and how that's played a role in starting her own company. Brandi, thanks for being here.
Hey, thank you for having me.
So can you tell us a little bit about you and what you do and how you ended up in the place that you're in your life right now?
Absolutely, I'd be happy to. So, of course, my name is Brandi. I'm the founder of Brandinc PR. I've worked in the PR and communication space for 15 years. I started off really, really young, 18, 19 years old, was in college. And I got exposed very early on to PR campaigns. So I started working with nonprofits. I was the epitome of, the broke college student, just trying to find opportunities to learn and experience everything. So I started off working with nonprofits, doing mini campaigns, and then I slowly graduated into more complex campaigns, working into entertainment and lifestyle, had the opportunity to represent athletes, NFL players, professional sports, musicians, you name it. I got to experience that as I kind of continued on in my career. And then I would say over the last 5, 6 years, I've gotten more into education, being able to share the importance of PR communications as well as personal branding. Taught at several universities, worked with several universities in terms of internship programs for students so that they could learn about the ins and outs of the PR industry as it stands, as well as, being able to create resources for small business owners and entrepreneurs so that they know what is available and what's attainable to them right where they're at in terms of their image. So definitely have dived into an amazing, amazing space, been able to grow so exponentially. And I think it was a lot of it had to do with just having the audacity to go into these rooms and just say, well, I'm Brandi Sims and here we go, and just going for it. So I've been very, very blessed in that, and just having that, initial drive to just go and ask questions and to get out there. So, from being broke college student to 15 years in this space, being an educator, being a business owner, being a wife, being a mom, also added on to the list and growing list of things and important titles that I have. Definitely has been a joy, and it's been an amazing, amazing experience to get to this point to be able to speak with you about it.
I'm sensing a commonality. Yeah. And I want to ask you a question.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Tell me if you're the friend that everyone says, you wouldn't understand, Brandi, you're so confident.
You know what? Yes. I laughed because I was going to try to ease out and be like, no, yeah, no, I am that friend.
Everyone thinks you're confident. Yeah. But how do you respond to that? How does that make you feel? Because in our circle, often we'll hear from people, oh, you wouldn't get it, Whitney. You're just you came out confident, you never waver. And I'm like, no, I absolutely do. I'm just choosing, right,
yes,
to lean into my confidence. So talk to me about that and how you would respond to friends, because I literally have known you for 3 minutes and already I can tell that you're the kind of person who brings that energy that people are just like, well, she wouldn't get it.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, that's such a good question because yes, I've gotten this before. And, I have to kind of piggyback off what you're saying in that, it's not something that just came naturally. I think it was kind of grown over time. And I guess in some ways, there were certain tendencies that I already had. I was already an extrovert. I was already the bold, quirky girl around the corner. And I think that because of it, people just assume that, oh, well, you didn't really have to try. And it's like, no, I do. There's some days where I'm not feeling it. So I think what helped me to add to what I already had in terms of attributes like being an extrovert and being just kind of loud and in there, was faking it till I made it. That's how I developed that confidence. And that's how I felt comfortable in the spaces where it was very uncomfortable. And then I just did it. I just looked at it like, well, they don't really know if the confidence is real or fake. So I'm just going to give them the best show. And then that's what just worked for me. So it was almost like I knew how to turn it on and just go for it. And then that's what helped to build that confidence day by day, experience by experience. But yeah, you're so right. When people say and make comments like that, like, oh my gosh, you wouldn't possibly understand it. I will listen to it, I'll hear it, and I'll just like, you have no idea like how I had to get to this point where it's like no longer faking it till I make it. No, now it's like, this is my real, this is me. Like, this is what you're going to get. And having this confidence and this self-assurance and know like, oh, no, this is serious now. Now, before I was kind of faking with you guys and giving you just the fluff and giving you my armor to just navigate the world. But now, this is a different beast. Like, this is for real.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's definitely one of those that I kind of like almost even side eye when I get the comments. Oh, you couldn't possibly understand. It's like, you have no idea.
And I mean, it's almost discounting the years and years of work
Yeah.
that it takes to flex that confidence muscle time and time again,
Yes.
where you get to a place where it is stronger than it was before.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It does. It feels like it's just kind of discounting it like, oh, well, that's something that you couldn't possibly know. It's like, no, absolutely. You don't know those moments and those experiences where, I was embarrassed or I was humbled, quote unquote, or I was made to feel less than. And really that is, what being humbled is. But, you don't know, and they don't know those experiences until, you really talk about it. But, those things did happen. And that's how you and how I really was able to develop that confidence and that taking it from the fake it till you make it into like, no, this is real. Like, I may be sharing with you a data point that might not quite be accurate, but I believe it, and then that's what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I said it, and that's what I'm standing in. I'm standing on business. That's what it is, and that's the level of confidence that you want to get to. But you're faking it till you make it. Absolutely. Do that until you get into that space where it's like, it's no longer, I'm not faking it. Like, this is what I believe in. Like, this is what it is. And this is how I'm coming to you. I'm serious about my business. I'm serious about my family. I'm serious about, this task, whatever it is. And, you just go from there. But yeah, it's such a gradual process that you have to constantly nurture and you have to constantly almost train yourself to get to that point. But it really, really started with that faking it till I made it for sure. And then, of course, just having the personality. But, again, I'm not even going to let that slide in. Like, that's discounting language. Oh,
Yeah.
well, I was already, the funny one. I was always the bold one. And I was always the one that, would go for it and stuff like that. But that doesn't mean you're confident. That just means you're the one that's going to, likely go and just do stuff. That doesn't mean confidence necessarily. That's just a personality trait. Confidence is really what you work on and you build towards to have that reassurance and that self-assurance that you've got this and you know what you're doing. And it exudes and it expels something that does influence other people. And hopefully in the way that they feel like they can do it too. And I hope that in my conversations with people that's what they get, not that I'm trying to make you feel less than. No, I want you to feel as great as, and that you can do it too.
I love that so much. So, here you've built this successful business in PR, and I've got to imagine that you're interfacing with a lot of people all the time. Talk to me about how confidence impacts someone's journey when they're trying to build positive press for themselves.
Oh, yes, yes. I mean, that's such a good question. I think it has a big factor and big impact in how they present themselves. I think the first thing that I share with clients is the importance of affirmations. I make them do this, and it sounds silly when you talk about it, but it's really effective if you actually implement it. But I try to find some affirmations for them and I guide them and I say, listen, you need to do this in front of the mirror before you go through your interview, before you go and do anything. You need to say these things. I've got this. I've got this. This is mine. I'm going to dominate. I'm going to be the best. I'm going to show up. Things like that is what I'll kind of give and really pitch to them. And I tell them, like, I want you to go in the mirror and I want you to just tell these things to yourself. I want you to see yourself just as you are, as you're getting ready to go into what we're going into battle, I want you to get pumped up. And especially with the athletes that I work with, it clicks for them because they understand what it means to get game ready. And that's something I feel like can apply to business owners, leaders, entrepreneurs, professionals, that you got to get game ready. And that's kind of where that confidence piece comes in. You got to get game ready. And how do you get game ready? Practice. That's how you get game ready. You got to get your face on if that's what it is. If that's, you need to pump your head up like, oh, yeah, I got this. When you say that enough times, like eventually it's like what I said earlier, where you're faking it to make it. Once you said it enough times, then you're just sitting there like, yeah, I got this. I'm going to kill this interview. I'm going to kill this proposal meeting. I'm going to get this promotion. And that is the attitude that you want to have going into these things. So that's something that I share with my clients, when we're prepping for those interviews or we're prepping for those opportunities, so that they are ready and they know and they have that self-confidence that, everything that I'm going to say, like, it's going to be great. It's going to go well. And it's going to communicate exactly the vision that we have for our brand. And that's something that is applicable to everyone. But yeah, it's getting game ready. That's what it's about.
Love that. So we have a confidence formula that we talk about. And the first step is positive self-talk.
Mm.
And then the next step is action, and then repetition. And so it sounds.
That's why we're smiling and laughing.
Yeah,
We're laughing because we're like, yep.
So yes.
Get game ready, work on the self-talk, and then take some action and then do it over and over and over again.
100%. And it's so necessary. It's one of those things that, like I said before, it sounds silly, and it probably is silly the first time you get in the mirror and you're saying these affirmations, and, you've got kiddos or your husband or your significant others on the side, like, what? They're over here talking to themselves. Oh my gosh, what is going on? I need to call for help. And it's like, no. Just go through the process and you'll see what a difference it makes in how you present yourself to the world. It makes such a difference. How your self-talk, how are you communicating with yourself? Are you constantly saying, oh my gosh, I'm never going to get this. I'm not equipped. I don't have what I need. If you're constantly sharing this stuff about yourself, eventually it does absorb and it ingrains in how you perform. So part of this process is, how are you talking to yourself and really talking to yourself and instilling that positive messaging that helps you achieve exactly what it is you're hoping to achieve in your goal set. So yeah, that's one of the things that I do with clients. That's something that we've implemented within Brandinc PR, so that we're coaching and we're helping in that media side of things. But it's absolutely that talk. It's something that, it sounds small, it sounds silly, and I get it. It looks silly as you're going along. But it's something that makes such a difference in your day-to-day and your performance that it's not something you want to sleep on. It's something that you do want to implement and you want to have just in your back pocket that you can pull out and you can say, like, this is how I'm practicing my self-confidence. This is how I'm getting game ready so that I can do whatever it is I'm planning to do and do it well and do it to the top level that you can.
I love this concept of getting game ready, because I just think it's something that anybody, no matter, like you said before, no matter what industry you're in, you understand what that means. So tell me, what are the other components of getting game ready for you as you're coaching clients and you're moving them through the process of really showing up to the best of their ability so that people take them seriously? What else is involved in getting game ready for you?
Oh my goodness. I think, well, one, that's a really, really great question. I think what really gets clients game ready too is the knowledge of the information that they're about to present to others. I think a part and a really good piece of confidence is that you know what you're talking about, right? So a lot of the times what we'll do is we'll get so ingrained in our focus areas, we'll get so ingrained in, the day to day, and we forget the basic elements of our industries or the basic elements of what we do for our work and things like that, or even just projects, right? And so when we're talking about confidence, we have to consider the knowledge piece of this. How are you building and how are you constantly nurturing that knowledge and awareness that you have? And that's not saying that, you get your college degree and then, that is it. You don't need to go in. No, you need to constantly be practicing and you need to constantly be working on that skill set that you have, because if you don't use it, you will lose it. That is a true thing. I think that we sleep on the fact that, oh, I got that degree, I got that certification 20 years ago, I'm good. It's like, no, you're not, because things are changing, and they've definitely changed since 20 years ago, even 10 years ago, even 1 year ago. I feel like the world has just been
Yeah.
like, well, there's always all this new stuff. But I digress. Part of that confidence build too is being confident in the information that you're relaying and that you're sharing. When you know what you're talking about, you exude that. And so that's something that you have to consider also in terms of, incorporating those positive affirmations to get game ready. It's really learning the material, learning the plays, and in this instance, our plays could be our strategies, our tactics. It could be in the form of our services, what we're offering, what we're doing, who we're providing to, and what are we supporting. You know what I'm saying? There's so many different layers that it goes with it, but it's making sure that we're informed and that we're staying informed and abreast of all things that are related towards this thing that we have to offer people. Knowledge is the key with this one. And that's, again, just going back to when you know what you're talking about, that's confidence, because you can confidently speak to it, you can confidently show up for it, and you can confidently perform it because you know it front and back, and you've made it a point to continue to practice and hone in on it and perfect it.
Yeah, no, I love that. Okay, so you're an entrepreneur, right? You started
Yes.
business. Tell us a little bit about the confidence journey to get to that place where you were like, I think I probably could do this myself.
Oh, yes. Oh, goodness. I love this question. So I had kind of fell into entrepreneurship in some ways. And it was out of really a really sucky situation. So I was working a 9 to 5. I had been there for probably about a year before I was promoted. I had came into the company as pretty much a hot shot. I just left a PR agency working with celebrities. So I was just like on 10, anything you sent my way, I'm going to dominate. I'm just at that level at the point that I was at. So I go into this company and very quickly, I was able to deliver results for them, get them national placements, won them a national award, the list goes on. And as I continued to grow in it, they offered me a position. They actually created a position for me because of the work that I did, and became a vice president in communications. Well, as we know, in executive level leadership, you get access to more stuff. And so one day I was kind of going through budget, and I fall upon the salaries of all of the employees. And in that's where I learned that I was getting basically underpaid in the tune of tens of thousands of dollars compared to all my white male counterparts. And in fact, when you split it up, the women were all sitting at under $35,000. All the guys were sitting at over $70,000. Mind you, at the time that I started this job, I had an MBA and 10 years of experience for my role. My direct counterpart, the white guy, he had no experience in his space, had never worked in the industry that he was hired to do. I don't even think he had a degree at that time. And he was making $70,000. So clearly we've got a discrepancy here. So I went all of the proper channels, I argued and said, hey, we got to fix this. What are you guys going to offer me? We got to fix this though. And at the time, this was in 2020. So the excuse was, oh, well, the pandemic and budget. And I'm like, well, I looked at the budget and we've got the PPE loan and we've got this, and we're actually a multi-million revenue generating company. So you've got the budget. Quit playing. And so, and within a week of that, they ended up hiring another individual, and they paid them at $150,000. So now at this point, I'm like, okay, so you guys take me for a joke. So at that moment, I looked at it and I said, I could stay in this position. I get a lot of attention from it because of the work and the results that I produce for them. And I can sit in this position, and what it looks like is, you've got a Black woman in leadership. It means so much, and you should stay because of what it looks like. And I sat on that and I listened to those comments and I really contemplated, oh, well, maybe I shouldn't leave because of what it looks like. And we need more women in leadership. We need more minorities in leadership. And it's doing more for the overall greater good of that and maybe just harming me. And I took that and I really assessed it. And I was just like, bump that. Like, if I am, what service am I doing by staying in a position where I know I'm getting underpaid and not knocking the other guys, but I'm knocking you? Like, you don't even have experience in your role and you're getting double what I'm getting. This is a joke. If I stick around here, what am I saying to young women that are doing the work, that are putting in the time and the effort, and they're taking this seriously? And just say, oh, well, just take less. That's fine. Keep doing the work, but keep making. No, that's not a message that I want to send. I want women to know that they can have something to fight for. And I want women to know that absolutely your expertise does matter. And this is BS. Get out of there. So I literally went to the office that day. And I feel like it was God calling too. And it was just like, what are you doing? Like, get out of here, bro. Why are you still here? And I just took that as my sign. Yep, gonna get my briefcase, get up out of here, put in my 2 weeks, started my company within a week, and got my LLC, everything all signed up. And within a matter of days, I got my first client, which was amazing. And then within 7 months, I hit my 6-figure mark. So it was just like the floodgates just opened for me, but it was just having the balls and the audacity to just go for it, not knowing what was going to happen. In the midst of a pandemic, girl, we were knee deep in masks and everything. And just saying, you know what? I know what I'm worth and I know what value I bring. Clearly, you guys let me know by all of the things and certificates. And honestly, I feel like looking back at it now, it was all painkillers. Oh, you're giving me this fancy title, but what vice president is making $32,000 with an MBA? That's crazy. Okay. So, it was all Band-Aids and painkillers that they were giving me to keep me around. But I had to really look within and say, enough is enough. And I know what I bring to the table, and forget this. I'm out. I'm going to start this thing on my own and we're just going to see where it takes me. And so far we're going on our 5th year and just dominating. So yeah.
I think it's such a beautiful example of really like owning your confidence and being willing to bet on yourself. And I have like loved listening to you talk about this. I swear I could listen to you talk all day long. I want to know, where can people find you? How can they work with you? All that good stuff.
Absolutely. So you can always reach out, hello@brandincpr.com. Always open to your questions. We are on social media heavy, Blue Sky, Instagram, Facebook. You can find us at Brandinc PR, and then check out our website at brandincpr.com.
Thank you so much for being here. And we can't wait to follow along and watch what's next, as you always show up game ready.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
All right. We'll talk to you guys next week.